Now, before I actually trade this new OA portfolio with the small account live, I made some changes, and I want to walk through those changes before any live trades happen. Now, in the last portfolio video, I showed the first version of the system I was building towards. But after doing more testing, reviewing actual strategies, and getting some really helpful feedback from the Option Alpha community, I decided to revise the portfolio. So first, shout out to the community. This is exactly why communities can be so beneficial. When other traders are asking good questions, pointing out risks, and helping pressure test the ideas, the system gets better. And that's what happened here. And we have such a great community. If you've never been a part of it, I encourage you to go check it out at optionalpha.com. So before I walk through the updated version, I want to explain why the portfolio changed a little bit. This was not me chasing a prettier backtest. That's actually what I want to avoid. The biggest change came from one of the SPY strategies. On first look, it looked great, but thanks to the community, they looked closer and they saw something that I forgot to account for, and that is that there were too many positions that expired. SPY is an ETF option, so I have to think about assignment risk. That doesn't mean SPY is bad, and it doesn't mean that SPY strategies don't work, but I did not account for that. And you need to be careful with automated strategies because letting SPY contracts expire, there is assignment risk. I tested it with different variations of the strategy. I tested it with exit options, expiration, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, and I even tested with slippage. And once all of that was included, the strategy was a really bad strategy, and that was the deciding factor. If a strategy only works with perfect fills, I don't want that to live in the live portfolio. And this is the whole point of doing this before going live. Backtests are not just for finding winners, they are also for finding problems before money is on the line. And in this case, the problem was pretty clear. That one SPY strategy had too many expirations, and that created assignment concerns. And once I added the slippage, the edge disappeared, so I just removed it. And that's not failure, that's the process working. The goal is not to defend version 1, the goal is to build the best version I can before putting the system live. So once again, thank you to the community for helping make this the best that it can be. So after removing that weaker SPY strategy, I rebuilt the portfolio with a cleaner mix. The updated version now uses XSP, SPY, and an SPX strategy. Now this SPX strategy is also from our portfolio builder. This one is the flat fly. And I'm going to go over all of these strategies with you here now. So now here is the updated combined result. When all 5 strategies are combined, the backtest shows a P&L of 24,248. The max drawdown was a negative 1405. The max risk was a negative 595. And the profit factor was 1.72. And that low P&L was only negative 244. Now, obviously, this is not a guarantee. This doesn't mean that the live account is going to do this, but it gives me a cleaner roadmap. It gives me a portfolio structure that I can test, track, and eventually compare with the live results. The backtest isn't the finish line, it's the roadmap. All right, so let's look at the strategies. Strategy A is an XSP 1 DTE Iron Condor. This enters at 9:45 a.m. with 1 contract. The strategy produced 2,686 total P&L. Max drawdown was negative 939. Max risk was 471 and a profit factor of 1.3. Strategy B is an XSP 0 DTE Iron Condor. This enters at 1:45 with 1 contract. The structure is a 0 DTE Iron Condor using negative 25 delta on the short put and a positive 25 delta on the short call with $2 wings. The strategy produced 2,776. Max drawdown was a negative 798, max risk was negative 434, and a profit factor of 1.37. Now, this next strategy, strategy C, was a SPY 0 DTE Iron Condor. This enters at 2 p.m. with 1 contract. This one uses a wider structure, and it is $5 below the short put leg, negative 30 delta on the short put, and a positive 30 on the short call, and the long call side matches the width of the long put side. The strategy produced $1,858, the max drawdown was $465, and the max risk was $443. And the profit factor is 1.46. This is still SPY, so I'm going to be careful with it live, but compared to the previous version, I'm being more selective about how I use SPY instead of letting the weaker SPY strategy stay in the portfolio just because the first backtest looked good. And then strategy D is the SPX long call spread. This enters at 3:30 p.m. with one contract, and this is a 1 DTE strategy. It produced $3,347. The max drawdown was 866, max risk was 846, and the profit factor was 1.66. This one has some more risk than some of the others, so I don't want to ignore that, but it adds a different type of exposure to the portfolio, and that's the point. And then finally, strategy E. This is the SPX Iron Butterfly. This enters at 10 a.m. and this is the biggest contributor to the updated backtest. It produced 13,750, max drawdown of -895, max risk of 244, and a profit factor of 2.67. This is the flat fly. This is the standout strategy in this version of the portfolio, but I don't want one strategy carrying the whole thing. I want this to be part of the system and not the entire system. The reason I like this version better is not just because the P&L is green, but because the structure makes more sense. I removed that SPY strategy that had too many expirations. I tested it with slippage and it did not hold up. I added more SPX exposure, kept the XSP in the portfolio because it fits the smaller account testing better, and I still have SPY exposure, but I'm being more intentional with it. This is exactly why I wanted to do this before going live. If something does not feel right in the backtest, I would rather catch it now, not after the bot starts trading real positions. And again, I want to give a big shout out to the Option Alpha community. Some of these changes came from me doing more testing, but most of them came from people in the community asking good questions, helping me think through risks I did not want to overlook. And that's exactly why I like building this in public. When people challenge the assumptions, the system can only get better. And in this case, the feedback helped me take a closer look at the SPY strategy, the expiration behavior, the assignment risk, which I forgot of, and the slippage assumptions before I ever put this live. The goal is not to defend the first version. The goal is to build the best version. So community, after doing testing, if you have any more suggestions for the small account, don't be afraid to shout it out in the community and let me know, because I want to build this the best way that we can. So to be clear, this episode is coming out before I actually trade this live, and that's intentional. I want to show the process before the results, because this is what I think a lot of traders skip. They find a back test, they get excited, they turn it on, and then they start learning the risks after money is already involved. We want to mitigate that process, and so I'm trying to do that opposite. I want to show the strategy before going live. I want to show the logic behind it. I want to show the weak spots. And then once it starts trading, we can compare the live results back to this plan. So this is the updated small account portfolio that I'm looking forward to. 5 strategies, XSP, SPY, SPX, combined backtest of 25,768 with a profit factor of 1.73. And the structure feels a bit better after doing more testing, more realistic assumptions, and community feedback. Now, obviously, again, this isn't a guarantee, but this is the plan. So next, I'll start testing whether this live result actually behaves anything like the backtest. I'm looking forward to seeing these results and working with you to make this the best that it can be. I'll see you in the next episode.